From the universe and the Andronicus transmissions on Wolf Spirit Radio, Ever Beyond Radio, and Studio 9 Jam on YouTube. With your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, featuring JP as the voice of Andronicus. Please visit www.readingsbyrael.com, that's A-R-A-E-L.
From the future, by way of the past. I'm on my ticket for the 15th century. We started moving through a hole in history.
You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us at Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions. So today is just like any other day. You know, different things are coming through. The Earth is changing in different ways, and we are learning more as time goes on. But one of the greatest part of this is that we're all coming together. A lot of people are meeting each other, developing a larger circle of friends, and it's also surpassing, just the continents. So I'm meeting people from, other places in the world, and I'm so thrilled that people are listening to us in the chat room as well as on the YouTube channel that has all of our archive shows. So if anyone listens in for the first time and they say, what in the world is going on here? I thought this was channeling. You have to go back to the beginning. There's been about 64 two-hour shows now, and probably more than that, because I'm only going by Andronicus, because he usually was my marker for how many shows, but now he was out of commission for a little while, right, JP?
That's right. He's been away, and now he's back. Who knows what he's going to be saying? I haven't, I'm like everybody here. I haven't seen or read anything of this. I've just downloaded it from Jessica, and and put it into Microsoft Word, and that's it. I might have seen it flash on the screen, but I'm not reading it. I haven't read it. So when you hear me read this, it's like I'm hearing it and reading it for the first time. So sometimes it gets to me.
Yeah.
Well,
it's really
and it's all genuine,
It's really, some of it's very emotional, some of it's very sympathetic towards what we're experiencing here on the planet. And, I had, and also invited Audrey to come and join us, to come and join us on the show and to give feedback if he wants. It's entirely up to him. And, but other than that, we're going to read through, and I thought that we could possibly start with, let's see. I'm a little torn here. I think maybe Borkum. I also want to remind everyone that if you look on Wolf Spirit Radio, that you'll find the Andronicus website. And for those that want to, I've been adding little pieces at a time, but it is available to look at, I believe. Is that correct, JP?
It's the AndronicusTransmissions.com.
Okay, AndronicusTransmissions.com, and then we have Andronicus in there.
Yeah, it's like a sub part of it. But, essentially, our dear friend Olivia has been working, day and night. Well, some days and some nights. Making what is a very beautifully put together website, and it's going to grow. And as the more people who come into it who think, oh, this is really a cool thing, we can join in, and see where it takes us. This is like being in the middle of the beginning of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something like that. Because it's something that is forming, it starts with you, and then I reflect, and then more people start reflecting. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
It has been beautiful, and it has been very insightful as well. I have people contact me that they'll listen and then they'll listen again, and sometimes multiple times before they say, wow, there's just, packed with information. Because we'll read over the transmission, we can't cover everything that's mentioned. But within it, there's just that piece of information like, oh, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. And I even have, I have a bit of a cold today, but I even have people contact me and say, oh, I was listening, or you should be listening to your own stuff.
Yeah.
I thought
taking your own advice.
Do this. Yeah, I thought you were told to do this and that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I have to do that.
Oh, that really sucks when people start telling you what they told us. Ah. Yeah.
It's true though, I mean, I'm literally getting this information. I'm trying to be honest and clean with it, so I'm not tampering with it. I'm not changing anything, any pieces that I don't like. You'll see early on that I literally get insulted multiple times. And, it's sort of, how it's rolling out. I don't want to tamper with it. I want to keep it very raw and fresh. And even if it's, not in my favor, because it's not about me. It's about just, seeing what the information is. Now, it's also not just about, little comments here or just a little skit. I mean, there's an aspect of life that we can glean from a lot of the things that are happening here. And here are beings that can travel. They can do whatever they want, but they find our lifestyle quite appealing. And they get into stuff the way we do. They find out that there are, as much as it's intriguing, they find that they're entangled in different things. But there's also the bigger part. When I hear from Rhodan, I feel like this is a really higher perspective. He's helping us to see everything in a fresh way and not see our limitations, and encouraging us. So they're multifaceted, and just go for the ride. I tell everyone, just listen. And you'll find that some people are falling in love with some of these different ones that come through, these different personalities. And, it's not a religion. We're not here to worship anyone, but to embrace ourselves, our own experience, and the experience of humanity and our connection to the stars, and anything else that shows up in between. So, we can proceed and we'll move ahead. So, JP, anything else that you'd like to add?
Apple pie. I just poured myself a glass of apple juice, and I've got it standing here. And every so often, I just keep thinking apple pie. Why am I thinking apple pie? It's just lovely. It's really nice, proper squeezed apple juice. Not a concentrate. And it smells just like the baking of apple pie next door. So I'm having a strange little apple pie moment. Anyway, meanwhile, all right, let me just adjust my mic because I'm well overdriven here. There we go. So where would you like to go first? Did you say to Borkum?
Yes, we're going to go to Borkum first.
Okay, so. My friends, Suma, Ketron, Primus, Kraton, and Rhodan are all here now. I see Meetis has awakened. I'm curious what he'll do. Ah, my faithful brother Ketron. Did you think I would let you down? I knew this would be a hard journey for you, but you held fast, my brother. You were strong when the mighty wind blew and the harsh sun rained down upon you. You held the fortress like a mighty warrior that you are. No worries, my friend. We stand strong and remain untarnished by the harshness of those who sought to challenge us. I am nearing my journey as who I am. The journey of Quetzalcoatl will be completed, and I transform once again like the phoenix. I am here for all mankind. The clock is ticking, but we are sustaining the force from within. Nothing can enter since we have established a stronghold and fortress. Continue on until I am free and liberated by the old sun. The black sun held me there in prison. I shall no longer be forced to ride with the black horses. I am now liberated to return back to the Sun Gate with my fathers and my fathers' fathers. It is a place of rejuvenation. It is a place where we will all enter in. Suma, you have already entered the Sun Gate and have set the quadrants of time with our beloved ones in the area where you were allowed to hold charge. Now the others must arise and do their part, complete their agreements, and carry on, my wayward sons. There will be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest, and don't you cry no more.
That's the song Carry On Your Wayward Son by the band Kansas. Borkum, you are the rock and roller around here.
Yeah, that's right, baby. We're going to rock this hole. Yeah, we're going to rock and roll this house. You know, I expect to dance and feathers all the way. Do ceremony, Rainbow Child. Do ceremonies with your native sons. Kitron, I told you what you need to do. Don't bring in the wrong goddess or any goddess or will not be set right. Hold the chalice, my friend. It is in a sacred space for you to rejoin and fellowship. One day we will drink from the same cup. One day we will have that peace of mind that you had dreamed up. Don't give up. You've gone on for far too long now. You have climbed the mighty mountain and scale and survived it all. You are my beloved brother. You held true. Finish this last task and it will be all well and your beloved people. Maya will live and the red path remains strong. Primus, lots of laughter ahead. We will be victorious. Begin plotting out the land and gateways. Choose your friends wisely, for they will be your future neighbors. Teach your children well and they will follow your wise guidance, restoring the promise and hope of a future world.
There's another song, Teach Your Children Well by Crosby, Stills and Nash. Borkum, I love you. You are so awesome. You know, Rhodan is fired up since he has been on the planet. I think he's going to make the change on the planet or help us figure it all out. There's something about history that better assists our understanding of our oppressors.
So he gave you a history lesson. He can be a bit long-winded, but in this case I see it's worthy of attention. After all, he doesn't mince words much. I find he is straight and firm about everything, and is the only one who keeps me on my toes, if you know what I mean. You should listen to him, Suma. He can help you. You do get a little too stuck in your own personal jargon. I told you not to get in the way this time. I know you don't mean it, but you have that womanly thing where you lose the focus of what has to happen. Fortunately, it has not been an issue this time. I know what happened with Kitriton. He does target you a lot, and I'm sorry for being hard on you. It was him causing all the trouble and expecting you to take the blame for it. Little by little he is letting go of his domain so we can clear out the intruders. He grew accustomed to them and even embraced them over his own brethren. I'm weary of his nonsensical ways. I don't even commune with him anymore. I told him to go and play with his friends, the sharks, the good-for-nothing soulless beasts he sent to you and others. It will soon be over, and we'll extract the poison from him very soon. It is the goo, the black goo, that has brought him to madness. The strangeness of it is that he is forever drawn to him. Just try to avoid him a bit, and we will capture him for a little while and draw out the blackness from his soul. I still have much to do. Kitron, we shall gather together in peace and love. Peace, my friends, return to the earth and expand your consciousness to the ends of all time. Remember who you are and hold your love inside. Rise again like the phoenix. Join me. Ooh, quite sober this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much of the sober.
Not so much of the party time.
Well, there's a little bit. He has some work to do, and he's trying to get us to stay focused.
Yeah.
Well, now's a good time for you to bring in Andronicus. Let's see what Andronicus has to say. Now, Andronicus is, I should say, let Let me give you a little side note here.
Meanwhile,
hold on.
Meanwhile, in a side note, somewhere tucked in down the back of Jessica's sofa.
I think it's time maybe to go to one of those songs. What do you think?
There's a good thought. We got lots on today, so let's carry on our wayward son.
Carry on our wayward son with Borkum.
Hang on. That's us back. Jessica. Where's Jessica gone?
I'm here. I'm talking, and I had it muted. I was just telling everyone this was Borkum's music. I mean, he literally started using the lyrics when I was channeling, and I was like, and I was laughing. I was saying, "Oh, it's a song." So I mean, who knows where all this came from? But I wonder if they don't like send lyrics to us, inspire these artists and rock and rollers.
That's what they've been saying. That's what they've been saying. Didn't Andronicus right at the beginning say that they have been sending us these visions of a dystopian future so people would make films about it so that we wouldn't go that way?
Yeah.
Didn't he say that? Didn't he say that they've been sending us lyrics as well?
They have.
I'm sure they said that. So I think you're dead right. I need to go to the kitchen for a second, so keep going.
Oh, unless you want to put in the other song then,
no, we'll wait. You've got plenty to talk about. I'm just going to go and stop the kettle boiling.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to stop that kettle before it runs away. But it's a really interesting theme this week. A little bit hippie-like, and Andronicus has a very strange situation that I hadn't seen him in a while. Sometimes he just disappears, and I think, well, he's on deep in space somewhere, and that's not the case. He's alive and well and still kicking. I saw him wake up. I was just doing something random. I don't know, maybe doing some chores around the house, and I had a vision of him almost like he was waking up, and he was somewhere in the southwest of the U.S., whether it was Arizona or New Mexico, I couldn't quite tell. But, you think it's on the same timeline, but that's not always necessarily the truth from my perspective. It could be in any dynamic and in any time. And an interesting idea that came up recently is that some of these characters have incarnated already, and I have been talking to their reality in the past, and then they chose to come in at a different time. Some of them have incarnated as humans. Maybe some of them are still alive and not necessarily in human form. But I haven't quite figured it all out yet. And as you come along on this journey with me, you'll discover it as I do. I mean, of course, I'll discover it maybe a few days before then, or as of late, I have been putting together these transmissions hours before the show.
Minutes sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm right up to the last minute. I'm like, oh, they want to tell me now, and I don't know why it's been happening that way, but that's the way that they've wanted me to do it, because it seems like every day that everything's so condensed right now that if I gave you a message yesterday,
it's out of date.
It might be out of date, yeah, because they're already moving into another space, and I'm trying to get you the most current information right up to that moment. Now, maybe in time that will change, but there's this things, I don't know whether it's the speeding up or slowing down, or there's just so much happening all at once.
The Andronicus News Network, bringing you up-to-date cosmic, galactic, and supergalactic information.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So indeed, it's it's been such, I mean, as you say, every day a new thing happens. Every day we hear a bit of news that kind of, all right. So I keep going back to this same analogy. And it's a bit complex to set up. But imagine, right? Imagine in your studio, in your mind, you have a big pane of glass, like about 8 feet by 4 feet. What's that? I don't know how much that is in meters, but it's like 2.5 meters by a meter and a bit. 2.5 by 1.5. Anyway, and you've got a whole load of cameras set up that can record in slow motion, all set up at different angles. And then what you do, you set the cameras running, and you smash the pane of glass from behind. And so the glass flies everywhere, and that's filmed. And then, what you do is when you edit the film, you cut between all the different cameras, and you play the whole thing backwards. So it looks like random spinning objects that are flying across each other and interacting with each other and banging off each other, all this stuff, but that eventually coalesce and at the last moment turn into a single flat plane. That is what it feels like when that's what the puzzle is. The puzzle is this shattered thing, and the shattered thing is the soul of God.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's the story of Osiris and all of the gods who are shattered.
Yeah, and that's only part of it. I mean, there's so many different aspects of it. Now I don't talk about this, but there's for lack of better words, there are fallen angels that are trying to pull from their space. And yesterday, someone contacted me, and I said, I don't know what it is. I don't feel right. I wanted to lay down. I just didn't feel like myself. I was feeling like I couldn't move, like I was stuck. And suddenly, I had this vision of all of these people collapsing in a reality, and I pulled one of them out, and I knew it was a fallen angel. I pulled him out because he wanted to lift. He didn't want to be in that dark space anymore. It was kind of like a place in Rome, like Caligula or something like that. And it was just like some kind of parallel reality that was an overlay around Rome. And I watched it. I watched, they were very corrupt, and I don't know, it was like an earthquake or something. And then I find out that just, not long before then, there was an actual earthquake in Italy. And so I don't even know what that was. It was
subterranean is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Beneath the streets, we think that there's just solid rock. We assume that because it's solid underneath us. But we're starting to see that through, the appearance of sinkholes, that it's not so solid underneath us. And now we're seeing Rome being shaken to the core.
Yeah.
And we are going to see there are going to be some things. And now, it may be part of a plan, because part of the plan is to have the slow release of archaeological finds that slowly discount the old religious models so that they can bring in a new religious model. We have there's all the archives under the Vatican, but there's also a whole other network, a whole complex of tunnels and places under this very, very old city that was built on older cities beneath it. So there's a lot going on under Rome.
There is, and it's sad for me because with all the corruption and everything, I mean, I literally have ancestry from that part of the world. My father's family was from Rome in that area. And, it was kind of sad. You don't want to see anything destroyed, and there's a lot of dark history there, but there's also some other bright history. And, you just don't want to see the destruction of anything, but it looks like it was a natural occurrence. What I said to this being, this angel that I pulled out, and I said, what happened? And he said, I wanted to get through. He said, I wanted to get through so bad that I came through into your reality. And he implied that he was the one that created the earthquake. He just wanted to leave that reality. And had the power to do so because he no longer wanted to participate in that energy anymore. And wanted to somewhat ascend out of it. So whether that's true or not true, I could never prove it, but I do have a witness of someone that, contacted me and told me about it because I had no idea. I just shared the vision and then he showed me it. It's things like that make me pause, and think, well, whatever this is, I just want to see that everyone's well, and if I have any persuasion or any reach, then I'd like to do it for the positive and make sure that I can help from my perspective. But I think many others can do the same and haven't really awakened to that ability or haven't realized their own personal power. And I think Rhodan starts talking about that today. So, anyhow, we can, and I know, JP, we've talked about manifestation and doing things for the planet, and I know you've done a lot of amazing things as well, and many others that are listening are light workers doing these things. Also, trying to just help and not harm. So, we want to see that everybody's safe and secure and that everyone awakens rather than falls into a point of destruction. Anyhow, that sounds negative, but maybe I don't mean it that way.
So, from Kansas, carry on my wayward son, to our very own wayward son, Andronicus. Here's the sound effect on. Oh, hell no. Only works when I've got the program running. Anyway, there we go. No, not that one. This one. Where am I?
I guess this isn't Kansas anymore.
I was sleeping. How long was I away?
I don't know. It might have been weeks. Yeah. I didn't bother you because I thought you were on a journey.
Where's that water?
And then Andronicus threw some water over his face and found a blister on his mouth that was very infected.
Ow. It appears I'm wounded on my face. It seems to be some kind of sore.
You look like you have herpes. Are you on the Earth? I saw you awaken somewhere near Arizona and New Mexico.
Is that where this place is at?
What year is it?
Wait a minute. Sir, can I inquire about the year? Oh, what are you talking about, man? It's the age of Aquarius. Did you ever smoke? Oh, no, literally. I mean, what is the date? Yeah. Wow. You must have taken something a bit heavy, man. You look like you came out of a rough trip. Hey, where's your old lady? No one to take care of you, man. It's 1962. It's Sunday. We just had a rally. May the 23rd. Oh, thank you. I'm looking for some water. Yeah, man, I've got a jug of it outside. You might have someone to take a look at that blister on your lip. Oh, you can travel with us, but we don't need any of the heebie-jeebies. No kissing my old lady, if you know what I mean. Come and hitch a ride with us. We're going to Santa Fe. With a great accent like this. We're going to Santa Fe. Thanks. I just need some new clothing and a little food would be nice. Maybe some herbs and flowers? No, you're talking my language. We have some herb in the car, and we all have the flower power. I think we're going to get along perfectly. What's your name? My name is Clyde, and my old lady is Bonnie. Really? You've taken up with bank robbery and other offences? No, man, just joking. My real name is Jeff, but my friends call me Catman. And my old lady Kim, we call Cuddles. Ah. Do you have an old lady for me, then? Sure, man, we can find one for you. Bravo is sitting in the back, and the beatnik one, Jimbo, likes to be left alone so he can vibe with his poems. He likes to perform. Ah. Why are we going to Santa Fe? Because that's where it's happening. Jess, unmute.
Andronicus, I'll let you go on your adventure.
Oh, wait, something bad's going to happen here. Someone opened a portal. These humans are in a heavy overlay and being mind-controlled. What are these chemicals they're taking? I fear the worst outcome here. I don't see you. Somewhere else now. I think you're in danger and I need to find you. I have to go. They're going to leave. Stay tuned for next week's session. What happens to Andronicus and the hippie?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, very exciting.
Exciting.
So he can see the psyop. Is he Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I know it's not a very Santa Fe accent. I don't do American accents very well. That's why I don't do them. In fact, I don't do any accent very well at all. It's just they all sound like me. Anyway, meanwhile, that was yeah. Go on.
He could see what was going on. I think there was some kind of I don't know, like you said, there was the psyop or some other kind of program, and then people were just kind of going along with it, and it looked like they were going to protest something. So, like they were gathering people.
There was a date. I don't know if our online researchers can find something, but we have the date of 1962, a Sunday, May the 23rd. Can somebody check that? What happened in Santa Fe?
Yeah, I didn't even look it up, so I have no idea.
So, cause you only just received this afternoon, so
Yes.
So.
And I don't change anything, so I like to keep it.
So, if anybody gets something, we'll bring you on into the show, and you give us a little report about what happened May the 23rd, 1962, in Santa Fe. And in a way, this is like bringing us into our dimension in real time kind of thing. We're no longer in ancient times. We're no longer in space. We're right down on the ground here in the planet. Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting. So,
yeah,
got some herbs in the car.
I know. He was looking for some food.
Yeah, I know.
He's a vegetarian. He's like, well, do you have any herbs or flowers, or he's trying to find the right words to.
Yeah.
And like, all right, he's one of us. He was dressed really different to them. Maybe I want to say he was dressed like in some kind of space outfit, or not space outfit, but like 1940s maybe. Kind of had like a mock turtleneck, a short turtleneck, but not like the kind that you roll over, just a short turtleneck, and short sleeve shirt, and there was some kind of stripe on it going vertically. Some kind of pants that were kind of very like pencil. What do they call them? The pencil legs. With the kind of
drain pants.
Straight.
What color was his top?
His top was white, and it had some kind of like beige brown stripe to it, and the pants were like regular men's pants, but the legs were very thin, and they were almost like right at his ankle, kind of short. And he had some kind of shoes on. But he looked like he had this big blister on his lip.
Oh God, he's got herpes.
He looked like he had herpes. I'm like, what is that?
Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
What has he been up to?
He's been up, obviously with people. Someone told me a story that, aliens, get STDs.
All right. Tell us.
Yeah.
And,
or they carry them, I know.
And how do they deal with them? This is what we want to know. How do they deal with them, Is there a cosmic clap clinic? Welcome to the Cosmic Clap Clinic. We can deal with 360 different species of different diseases. All right, yeah.
I was gonna edit, I was like, why am I putting this part in here? And just, this is wrong to put in that he had that blister. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was right or wrong to put it in there, but I just felt like it was authentic. It was real of what the conversation was.
Yeah, and there's something to do with it. There's a story behind it for a start. It's like, how did you get that, Andronicus?
he was asleep, like and he thought he was like knocked out on drugs, like what the, you dress weird, you're this and that, you're too clean cut. And then, they weren't sure if he was like one of them. But he has a way of blending in, and they all do. They all seem to slip into, whatever time period that they're in and kind of blend. This is the nature of the time traveler.
Yeah. As you say, they tune in. They tune into the frequency of the time and, somehow disappear and blend in, with the background. It's really interesting, because, the feeling I got with this little group is, Easy Rider. When, they pick up Jack Nicholson, who's wearing a suit. He's like the son of a banker or something like that. And, he's like dropped out and, the Jack Nicholson, character in Easy Rider. He's very different from the bikers, And gives them revelations. He tells them all about the way the real world is. There's a lot of disclosure in that film.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Nick without number said we should ask Eric what happened then.
Oh, just leave me alone with that bloody thing.
Ask Eric about therapy.
Yeah, right. Ask Eric about the what?
The herpes.
The herpes, alright, yeah. Born to be Wild. May the 23rd, 1962.
Yep, 1962, yeah. Born to be Wild. They said that Audrey should do the American accents. Maybe we should bring him in to do some accents for us.
Don't put him on the spot. Oh God, it's bad enough putting me on the spot, but I'm here to be put on the spot. Alright, here we go. May the 23rd, second Yankee. Joe Pepitone, right? Well, no. Continental Airlines Flight 11 crashes after bombs explode on board. May 22nd. Paul Newcastle. It was Wednesday under the sign of Gemini.
Well, maybe look for a university. Is there any type of gathering or something that might have taken place on let's see. So this is what everything that happened on 1962. Right.
Okay. Stranger on the Shore.
Especially May people in the U.S. were listening to "Stranger on the Shore" by
Acapulco. I'll just bring that out. I love that tune. Yeah. It's
bring it in. They listened to this song. Bumble and the Stingers was the top 5. Lonely Are the Brave, directed by David Miller. And let's see, but much more.
Waiting for Google.com.
Okay, Olivia has something here. It looks like a big thread.
Books.
I found an interesting link online. It's a book. I will send the link.
Gemini. All right, here we go. May the 23rd, Scott Carpenter orbits the Earth 3 times in the U.S. Aurora.
Interesting. Number 7.
Yeah.
Or Aurora number 7, yeah.
Aurora 7. Gemini is May the 23rd.
Oh, JFK was in Santa Fe in December 1962. Because I got a quick glimpse of JFK. So I didn't know what that was about. Transforming the World, Bringing the New Age into Focus. It's a book.
So let's have a little bit of action.
Yeah.
Wait for the advert to stop. It's the Omen. Right, great, okay. There we go. This is what it sounds like. Anyway, so that was the moment that they were taken into.
Yeah.
That Andronicus found himself. Now, 1962 is a little early for the hippies.
It is. It was
It's
more
like-
beatniks.
Yeah, more in the
They're
beatnik sort of zone, isn't it?
He noticed the guy one of them was a beatnik
Yeah.
writing poems. He's a performer.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just sort of doing some kind of political gathering or hanging out and partying, you know. But looked like they were on the way to do something there in Santa Fe.
Yeah. So, interesting. And also, I'm also drawn to Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters. Have you ever heard of these people?
No. And what's this, the rocker by Bumble and the Stingers?
B. Bumble and the Stingers, Nut Rocker.
It's...
It's the Nutcracker Suite rocked up. So it's called Nut Rocker, and I'll bring it in. I'll find it because Nut Rocker was a real classic, and everybody's heard this tune. There we go, Nut Rocker, B. Bumble and the Stingers. Probably have to endure another advert. There we go. Here comes another advert. No, get rid of that. Right, so yes, B. Bumble. There we go. There we go. Yeah, coming up. So there you go.
I'm just saying, yeah.
B. Bumble and the Stingers, Nut Rocker, and Acker Built. So that brings us into the moment of this place where Andronicus finds himself. Yeah, so we've had a lot of musical inspirations this afternoon. It's very interesting.
We did, yeah. Well, we haven't even gotten to Rhodan yet. Rhodan's a pretty powerful message. Paul said Los Alamos Labs. He said scientists working at Los Alamos National Laboratory 1962, the Santa Fe, New Mexico reports that the New Mexico Highlands University imposes. The interviews indicate some of the problems immigrant students encounter may be largely because of staff.
Attitudes, probably.
Yes. So maybe they were getting drawn in by that. Murthing said, is this Emerson, Lake, and Palmer?
No, this is the original B. Bumble and the Stingers, Nut Rocker. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer did do a version, but it was a cover. This is the original. From,
okay.
I don't have the number.
I think Paul at Newcastle, I think it might have been something that they were doing. Just, maybe like more of an informational thing, but not the heated riots. Like you said, it was pretty early still for that, but the students were being engaged. They were seeing more of, it was like sort of an awakening, but then, of course, there was some mind control and other things going on all at the same time, and the artificial, the LSD.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Remember what the hippie said? What year is it? This is the age of Aquarius. 1962. Yeah, long before early, 67, right? Yeah. Saying this is the age of Aquarius, mate. And that is, these people, a lot of people think that the 60s was just like a phenomenon that is over. But it wasn't. It's a pre-wave. It's a pre-wave of what it's really going to be like. Because, really, people, that's what it's like out there. All our brothers, all our space brothers and sisters, they're all hippies. They're not warlike, sort of Star Wars like stormtroopers. We'd just rather not get involved with stuff because we're creative and we've got a lot better things to do with our time, as Audrey would no doubt confirm.
Yeah, and I wonder too that this wasn't a setup. I'm starting to think that these people that showed up were not actually just maybe they were government, or maybe they kind of were onto who he was, or I mean I don't know. Something looks a little suspicious, doesn't it? Yeah,
Well,
Nick Without Number said, and yeah, it wasn't even the Age of Aquarius. Said, no, it wasn't, but that's exactly what I heard. So I wrote it down.
yeah. No, it was. It is. We are in the Age of Aquarius. It's
I know
just
that,
the
but
age
we weren't.
No, we were.
At 62.
It was starting because it's not a single thing. You know, an age lasts several thousand years, a couple of thousand years. And so what's 50 years between friends at this point?
So they knew about it. They knew about it in advance,
it's
so they were
been
already
known for
informed.
hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years. And all the esoteric things came out in the early 20th century. All the books that were being prepared in preparation for people to learn about the new age. And these, all right, the book, Discipleship in the New Age. When do you think that book came out? In the 1920s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird because when I saw Andronicus, he looked like there was moments when I thought 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. It was like he jumped. He did a time jump.
Mm-hmm.
And was there in Santa Fe, but those hippies knew how to find him. It was almost like they were right there. And I couldn't quite lock into whether he was inside a building or outside of a building. I just got a quick glimpse of their conversation. I saw a vehicle briefly. But then I saw how it was set up. They were all crammed in this car. It looked like a convertible. And they were all crammed in there in the back. And this one guy had like glasses and was doing the very beatnik thing, had a guitar. Mm-hmm. And was sitting there by himself, even though he was kind of scrunched in, but he was kind of quiet. And the others were there, and it was just like they were piled in, and they didn't care they were bringing someone else. There's no seatbelts.
Just cram in.
Yeah. Yeah, come on and join us, But, he was, like he said, he was dressed a little different from the others. Almost like, dressed from like the 40s, but yet there was something about the 20s there too. Hmm. So he might have done a double jump,
Somehow.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was probably anachronistic in some way. Was he dressed right for the weather?
Yeah, I mean, short sleeve shirt, those pants, the skinny jeans, you know what I mean? But they're not quite, they're cotton. They're just the calf bar, I mean, they're straight. He wasn't wearing bell bottoms or anything like that, or even pants like we wear now. No John Lennon sunglasses, hip huggers, no, they weren't quite into that clothing yet. And no fringed, vests, beads and feathers. It was a little bit more neutral. But the dark glasses, more of a dark looking clothing. So, and, no, none of, might have been some headbands. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
How was the hair? The hair, it wasn't long in everybody. Big.
Yeah, it was, yeah, so one of the guys had big, like, curly hair, and the beatnik had short hair. The one guy wore a vest. And, but the car looked kind of like those big, heavy metal, like the the very big Fords or something, convertible. It wasn't a Mustang or anything like that. Nothing sporty.
Mm-hmm. So
Vanessa said Andronicus was wearing a mock turtleneck and a pegged legs.
and
Pegged pants.
Oh wow. Oh well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's in great shape. He can wear whatever he wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. He's looking for plants to eat. He's into herbs.
got any weeds? Oh yeah, man, we got weeds.
They were probably CIA, said Paul. That's probably right. Turtleneck or Dickie.
So, shall we hit Busby, Pills, Hash and Dung? I mean, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh no. Yeah, and then maybe we can bring in Audrey.
Haven't we got some more?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We still have, but he can listen through it.
Okay, all right. So here's Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Now we're back. There we go.
Yeah, it was almost like they were hippies before they were hippies, right?
Yeah.
But see, the beatniks had their own language. They did all different things, and I couldn't help it. I started thinking about Jack Kerouac when I was watching this. And I love Jack Kerouac. I remember On the Road, and essentially it's just like meeting people and, hey, what are you doing? You want to hang out? We're just going nowhere, but you can join us. You know what I mean? And whatever food we have, you can have a little bit of it. Yeah, it was On the Road with Jack Kerouac. I actually had a person that I did a session with who was very connected to Jack Kerouac, and he didn't know anything about him. And there was so many synchronicities, it was just crazy. But let me see. So Olivia said, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I know they started experimenting with mind control in the 1960s in the U.S. Yeah, they brought in a lot of stuff in the 1960s.
Yeah, and there's a lot of labs.
Yeah. Well, this was the paperclip generation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because they came in from the 50s and then thought, the American youth can be our experiment, Yeah. And essentially that's, a lot of that stuff happened. Merther says, oh yeah, he's a good guitarist, yet singing enough of my opinions, beatniks with their, anti-culture culture. Yeah, and that's what it was. And it kind of stirring everything up. It stirred up everything, and brought out a lot of angst but also a lot of community living and a lot of ideas. Creativity came out at that time. But anyhow, we're gonna move along here.
Moving along.
Yeah,
should we go
Rhodan?
to Rhodan? Yes. I noticed you'd found the ancient city of copper on the planet we call Criterion. It was a long time ago since you had been there.
Well, I could see it clearly in my sight. It was made up of strange structures made of copper with beautiful green patina on it. It was so beautiful to look at, but there remained a harsh coldness upon viewing. I could feel the resistance there. It was a gateway city on a small planet, unknown to humankind. That's what I remember.
It was a gateway because it was filled with uranium. This was used for travel. Ships from all over would come there to fuel their crafts. The soil was rich with minerals. There was also a lot of gold from trade. The Anunnaki came to purchase the monochromatic gold for survival. They always had magical gemstones, rubies, emeralds, and multicolored stones of all purposes. It was an amazing array of tone and resonance. They were the master miners filled with ingenuity to extract the most powerful seeds of the planets. This is what gave them power. It carried all the life force within the seeds of the planets, and they would assert their command over many. Some believe the Anunnaki did everything by force. This is not so. They were brilliant and resourceful and typically highly underestimated. You, for example, lived amongst them many times in the past. They respected and honored you for your work. They will never harm you. In time, others will send you to speak with them because they have no other option to do so. Too many think they can be defeated. What they didn't realize was that they were never after the gold, the gems, or any of the riches of the universe. They were after eternal life. They knew that their culture would disappear if they were recycled and dropped back into the primordial ooze. At this time they remained the same, unchanged but weathered by the harsh cities of labor and warfare. If you'd have known them in the past, or at least remembered them, they were once a loving society with brilliant teachers. Anu was a mighty warrior who was loving to his people. He had many sons and daughters and ruled well. In time, warfare became a norm amongst them because of what they had amassed in wealth and the insights they had about the mysteries of the universe. You were here at this time because you had lived amongst all of the ancient tribes, and they all remember you. You are here to keep balance and peace. I have paved the way for you, and will make sure that no one harms you when you need to be the liaison that I've called you to be. The thunder strikes when a new star awakens. The thunder rains upon high, and the eyes of the ancient are now all open. Most injustices, many injustices have been done to the masses of humanity. They were assumed to be weak and helpless. To further assist the infiltrators, they heaped chemical trails upon my beautiful children. I'm enraged with their behavior and how they target my innocent children playing amongst the trees and the fields. I see my drops of sunshine upon the young, innocent child as he drinks from a poisoned stream. I weep at the chaos in their homes from programming done to their parents. I am enraged by the sorrow of the mother whose healthy child has been tampered with by toxic elements all around them. I weep for the children of wars and sorrows of the lands. The food that is poison and corrupted. They have done this to our creations. They had altered and poisoned the very earth they walk upon. I'm in rage and sorrow over the damage. I have heard the weeping and the tears of the innocent and applaud the warriors who stand up for the mass attempt to murder all humanity. I am sending many to come and assist the changes. I can hear you saying, "Why don't you save us?" Because you have the power to save yourselves. You have the power to make the changes. I have formed groups around the planet to begin psychic warfare to root out the true entities behind this. I've asked many to disentangle humanity from these vile creatures who claim to be your benevolent rulers. They had you make bargains with them. They had you make vows with them through lodges, corporations, governments, religions. They had you sell your own names and livelihood for a scrap of bread, tainted by their polluted chemicals. I ask you to remove any and all vows, commitments, and forfeiture of your free will on and off this planet. Take back your sovereignty now. Say it loud and psychically retrieve your free will once again. This is the first step of many. You must take back your free will first through your words, because your words are binding. Once you are free, it will be done. Notice the difference, how you will be able to make decisions. Notice how you are liberated to step out of the box that holds parameters of your systemic slavery. Notice you are no longer a part of the slave system. Your words are so much powerful than anything on this planet, yet few of you exercise the right to speak your truth and live as you deserve to live. Free yourself with your words and then help free others by sharing this first practice. Follow after me. I ask to break all vows and commitments I had made in this lifetime and every lifetime I was here on the planet and participated in the karmic wheel of life. I proclaim my sovereignty from all administrations, governments, lodges, secret societies, any organized structures. that required me to sign or forfeit my free will in any way, shape or form. 3. I proclaim myself free and only aligned with the highest and best for my soul. I am forever connected to the divine source that keeps me connected to all the many aspects of divine light. 4. I am free and will forever be free as long as my soul coalesces with the universe. This is what will liberate you, not a forceful leader. You are your own leaders. This is not just a gratitude supper, it is much more. It is you regaining the ownership of your own soul. Begin with this first and the other victories will follow. Now, getting back to the original discussion, the planet Criterion incidentally is the origin of the name Criteria, because the planet was riddled with agendas. It is the origin of deal-making and bartering gone wrong. In short, they were thieves, taking from those who fell upon difficult situations, technical struggles, and happened to be in that vicinity. The copper buildings had a purpose. They assisted a magnetic field that drew in the wayward ships, unable to gain control or leverage. All vehicles felt an unnatural draw or hypermagnetism that forced nearly everyone to visit or request assistance. This was the first of their follies. Had I known of this long ago, it would have been quickly dismantled. The copper pyramid you saw was built to appease many of the worshippers on varying sectors. It was a universal symbol of harmony and balance. The structure itself was not complex, but created a field of energy that had restorative properties. You may notice that you only have pyramids as artifacts. You should be living in structures more to those dimensions for wellness purposes. Furthermore, there is much to gain by this society that reflects on so many things that is wrong with your own society. Criterion continued to take more than what they could give. In time, they all became rulers and even took planets from others who could not make a payment. They began by taking ships and amassed a fleet of ships. Their power grew exponentially. They were the first to develop a money system. They created coins or slivers of the metals as a return for sacred stones, vehicles and technologies. It was a thoroughfare of corruption. It grew like a greedy beast, and the redness of the copper burned brightly from above. I sold one ship there to see where it would end up. I was amazed how they collected DNA and other matter to learn all the weaknesses of the parties. It was a science of corruption. Everything they acquire is a part that turns to corruption. You, my friends, are the product and recipients of the system we call Criterion. The taste of metal remains in our mouths, and the oppression of others is a practice so old that one can hardly date the origin of it. But the introduction of the money system you recognize now is from Criterion. They think they can hide this from us, but they cannot. We can find them by their practices. Their modus operandi, MO, never changes. The money system is from Criterion, so all the perpetrators are here, right here on your planet. We have searched for 2,000 years, have come close and almost caught them during the time of Christ and Anno Domini. It was close, many of them were recognized, and we prepared to set up a trial, but they rapidly escaped off-world. By the appearance of things, they are ever present here, and if I were to guess, they would have too much to lose if they abandon the planet now. Thus they are poisoning to prevent the loss of what they have amassed. Thus, it is over for them. I can see far too many leaks in their system. Tell them Rhodan has arrived. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Right, history lesson there from Rhodan.
Yes.
So the planet Criterion, that's where critical comes from. Criteria. Critter. The critters from Criterion. And money. You remember,
Money.
I've been talking about this the last few days. You know, we're all like completely overwhelmed by this thing we call money, but it's not really our thing. We're much better at bartering.
We are. I know that Audrey has brought that up, and many cultures in the past survived that way.
Yeah.
Many
Thrive.
civilizations existed that way.
Yeah.
The money concept is not necessarily a balance or exchange, and so there's always an imbalance.
It's slavery.
In the trade.
It's slavery.
It is.
Because interest is usury. It's stealing, literally. You know, even like 1-2%, but look at the kind of percentage that they're taking now. Like 30-40%, that's a ridiculous idea. Because no one can ever pay anything like that back. Just a simple mathematical reduction will tell you that if you pay 7% interest, here's a little nugget for everybody. If you pay 7% interest per year, after 10 years, you're now paying twice as much. You've now amassed as much interest as the original, what's it called? The primary, the original lump sum.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So if you pay back the interest on $100, after 10 years, you've paid off $100. That's 7%. That's what 7% means, people. You know.
Sometimes you get caught in that web of just paying the interest, right?
Yeah.
You're just paying the interest, and you put nothing down, like for a house. And you actually put nothing down on the house. The literal value of the house, you're not even touching because there's so much, the interest is getting paid first.
Yeah.
It is a horrible, it's a horrible way to oppress people.
It's slavery, and it's an illusion, you know, like, oh, I'm buying my own house. Really? 10 years later, I've got to pay the mortgage. I've got to go to work in the morning. I hate work, but I've got to pay the mortgage. What's a mortgage? A contract till you die. So,
yeah.
Great. So we got to get rid of all of that. I mean, that we have the power, as Rhodan was saying, we have the power to recognize our free will, and that we're no longer agreeing to be enslaved by this simple idea that this piece of paper, just because it's made of linen or it's now made of plastic, is anything special, anything more special than this piece of paper that I signed, that I wrote out, this piece of paper with a drawing on it. This piece of paper I have with a drawing on it is worth more than that piece of paper with a little picture of a dead person on it. You know what I'm saying?
It is. It's the whole thing's just, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's horrible, and,
slavery.
It is a form of slavery. And what I thought was interesting that Rhodan said is that he finally was affirmative that he could find them. He's looking at the behaviors. Of course, they've changed and altered themselves in a way that is very hard to detect. Now, these are, some serial criminals from many years before. We don't even know how far back this is. I don't even know if this planet still exists. But I could see it. I had a clear vision of the city. I could see that pyramid structure, and there were other buildings there. All the buildings were made out of copper. I've never seen anything like that before. And they had, it was just some of the copper was showing through, and then you could see the green patina, as if it had been weathered. And it was sort of like a little bit of a mecca where people came through and then they were bartering and trading. It was kind of an eerie kind of feeling. It was almost like, you know, that feeling you get when you look at Mars and they show some of those structures there. To go Google space or whatever that is. But yeah. Yeah. Very, very eerie. I couldn't really see what the people looked like. It was funny because when they showed it to me, it didn't look, either everyone was asleep or it had been abandoned by then. I don't know.
So, now, a little bit back towards Andronicus. You said he'd been asleep. Was he in, like, hypersleep, or was he... Is that how they travel through time? They just kind of find a little cozy place and sort of hibernate?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was almost like he was pulled out of a location where he was, I think, waking up. I don't think he woke up on the street, like a vagabond. I think he woke up inside a building. Which made me think about how they found him. How they knew where he was. Or it could be that, you know, I mean, those type of people, they're wanderers, they're drifters, and they're also looking for a free place to sleep, you know, or rest, and it could have been an abandoned building he came out of. But he looked like he was definitely went into a time travel mode, and then, but he had been away for a couple of weeks. I hadn't communicated with him. So I don't know.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I was wondering why I couldn't find Audrey's other ID, but it's got an apostrophe in it. Anyway, well, there we go. Yeah. So, shall we go to to Meetis?
Go to Meetis?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, there's an awful lot of solar flare activity as we speak, which is causing people to feel really, like, not very happy, like really, you know, gutsy and grumpy and all that sort of stuff. So, if people are feeling bad around you, just forgive them. Everyone's going through it. Everyone's feeling really crap. So.
The solar flares are probably, you know, they're just kind of rooting out everything and just shifting energy, and we'll be okay. We're going to be okay. So.
Yeah, it's just bringing up stuff. Just bringing up stuff. Right, hang on. Let me, you know, just, all right, hang on. Right, hang on a second. I'm just going to reformat the song part while you introduce Meetis.
Okay, yeah, so we have Meetis again, and, he's kind of in another situation, as usual. And, let's see.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting my, getting my line spacing. No, that didn't work.
I do want to remind everyone to really listen through those comments about relinquishing any vows or commitments to end anything. And Rhodan, maybe he's going to carry us through this process, but wanted us to focus on the first part, and that is cutting off any vows, commitments, and agreements. I'm assuming many of the people in the chat room have already done that. Because that's part of allowing more of an awakening to come through, is that you're no longer part of a system. The system has a control on it. And when you're bound to that system, you're limited in your accessibility to other thinking to some degree because there's a level of ownership. And so I'm encouraging everyone to create a soul agreement to yourself only, and a soul agreement to the God source energy of however you perceive that, and not allow anything else to conduct or persuade you into any other situation you don't want to be in. Remember, you can, there are things that we sign our name to, and we don't know what's binding, what isn't binding, but we need to be in a space where our hearts are open and not influenced by anything, and that all the veils are removed, and that we can see things in its truth, not caught up in the matrix, but seeing beyond the matrix, and all the parameters around it. And constantly reminding yourself when the things are going wrong that we are still in a space of illusion. We're not in full truth yet. And so we encourage ourselves to continue moving through any difficult times that we may encounter. And even though there's a lot of fear going on that this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and of course, my highest work is to try to shift that energy so that we don't have to experience that. And I know certain things we are meant to experience, so our hearts can be more open. But we can open our hearts before then. We don't have to wait for some kind of tragedy to occur. And if we have the courage of knowing that we are connected to Source, none of this is going to matter anyhow. Whether we pass over into the other world, on the other side, whether it's our time, whether it's today or tomorrow, and that could happen to not from a cataclysmic event, but always just being ready and being in right communication at this time. So it doesn't matter what happens, although we do have the choice to make a difference. And that's the part that we've not taken. We've not taken up our own personal power and moving forward and creating a reality that is better suited and of love, harmony, and working towards a goal of a new generation sustaining themselves and being strong. So,
sorry, I'm just
chatting. It's just
chatting.
worth thinking.
It's worth thinking.
Oh, Vanessa said it's similar to the Bartz's revocations, but not quite sure. Okay, I've never seen them, but I think I really do like what Andrew Bartz's does.
Mm-hmm. So I might do it again. Maybe Viking can do it in his nice voice, and I'll clip out Viking doing it.
Yeah. Oh, the commitments.
Yeah.
And the vows.
Because we know that Viking is a Rhodan fan, and
yes.
loves the wisdom of Rhodan, and I'm sure that it would sound fantastic in Viking's voice. Don't you think? Don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would sound really good.
Yeah. So, I've been walking around like John Wayne. Oh, why have I been walking around like John Wayne? How does John Wayne walk?
And I'll kind of, like the gunslinger.
Uh-huh. Get off of your horse and drink your milk.
Well, there was a comment from Paul earlier. He sent me a message saying something. Let's see if I can get that quote. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, I have twin pitch shifting capabilities now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you.
That's it. You and Eric.
Well, no, I can have two voices connecting together like different pitches.
Ah.
So I can have one high and one low, or two high, two Erics, or and like I can connect the person who I'm talking to. I did this show with Andrew on Monday. It was just a complete bit of fun. So that Andrew's been through some major stress, and we just needed some steam to let off. It was just good fun. We were just kind of improvising, a sort of Cobra-like conversation.
That's good. Well, that's what we were doing last night too.
Yeah.
And, well, Paul accused me of being a crazy Eric fan. And I said, I thought that was funny, but I said that you had an alter ego. And he said that I think you're right. JP looks in the mirror and Eric looks back with shades and wearing a smoking jacket, smoking a cigarette.
a blue bathrobe, yeah.
Blue bathrobe, like Gary, right?
Like Gary.
Gary the Immerther.
Oh yeah. Well, I was making you laugh. I was making you laugh last night.
Well, it worked. It totally worked.
I always love making you laugh. Anyhow. So, shall we approach, the force field that is Meetis?
Yes.
So, I mean, like, when you saw him, right? Because how was he dressed? Because I need to clear my nose. But tell us how he was dressed when you saw him today.
Oh, Meetis?
Yeah. I mean, how was he appearing to you?
Kind of dressed in a suit jacket. It was quite fancy looking, very ornate. There was some kind of, I don't want to say embroidery, but it's definitely some kind of patterning in the jacket. It was sort of like a velvet or a silk jacket. And, I believe he had some of those short pants on. And he wasn't wearing a wig or anything. His hair was a little bit long and combed back.
All right, and I'm just looking at the first page. It's in the 1800s, so there we go.
Yeah.
So, are we ready?
Yeah, I think I mentioned something about his clothing in here.
All right.
As a matter of fact, yeah.
I just wanted to get the time zone frequency for Meetis. Tune in to Meetis. Where are you, my lamb? Hello, my love. Where's my flower? Ever so lovely. Tell me, my love, I'm told that things are about to change on all dimensions. What should I do? I have a choice to leave or stay on the planet. If I stay, the Polaris system will arrive and things will change. If I go, the Zeta Reticuli will take over. What should I do? Actually, I prefer to stay.
Meetis, why would both of these things happen? How are you an influence on the planet?
Because I hold back the energy. Some fish and chips. I think I'll have a bit of that in the pub. I was hungry and long for something a little tart. Malt vinegar will do it.
Meetis, where are you?
I'm at the fair in the King's Yard. He had a gathering for birthday or something. It's the 1800s. I won't say specifically when and where. I finally broke free from that wretched Dryden and escaped that reality. I let everyone think he killed me by disappearing and putting my clothing on a stranger that somewhat resembled me and had recently died. I didn't hurt anyone, but when I saw him it gave me an idea about how to exit. I'm the master of this, you know.
So what happened to Dryden?
I don't know, and I don't care. He's troublesome to me. The only thing I know is that he was gaining such wonderful popularity discrediting me that I decided to have him blamed for my death. I imagine he couldn't stay there any longer, gaining power, prestige and popularity. I do care about him, but I want my freedom and I will not forfeit that for anything. By the way, you should wear the colour red on occasion. It looks good on you.
So you abandoned ship?
It was my ship to abandon. I come and go as I please, and no man, woman or Dryden can ever interfere with that. Tell me, my love, what shall the both of us do? Shall we escape and run away to frolic into the sunset? That would really get to him. Dryden would be out of his mind.
Meetis, don't antagonize him. He'll be vengeful. Remember, you are creating more problems this way.
Oh, I know. But there has to be some form of retribution, you know, like these shoes. Do you see them? Aren't they shiny? They're a gift from Dryden. And this coat, pure wool, linen and silk outfit. I look suited up for a ball. I can dance much better than him. Paul, I mean it. Don't let him fool you. Sorry. I can dance much better than him, Paul. I mean it. Don't let him fool you. He will try to get you involved in his shenanigans, and then you will be caught in his thread, as I am. Help me, Primus. I can't seem to be free from him. I mean it. He's a thorn in my side and far from a primrose petal. I bore him. Please, I request that he let me free.
Meetis, I will try to speak to him for you.
No, I don't want you to say a word to him. I want Primus to speak to him. If he talks to you, he will never go away.
Why do you think he is here, following you?
I don't know. I really don't know why. I need a break from him. He can read right through me.
I think he's in Chicago, searching for you at the World's Fair.
Yeah, good job, well done. I'll keep clear of him. Be gone now, don't hover around me or he'll see me again.
Okay, take care, Meetis, and stay out of trouble.
Oh, I shall.
No song?
Oh, I feel too low right now. Very well. Can't get the pickup. I need now. Fa la la, fa la la. I'm going to church now. I'm making a new vow. Set everything right and not put up a fight, to learn my lesson well, to not put everyone else through hell, and take whatever shame I bear, and stop acting like I don't care. Go and have my fish and chips now. We'll linger amongst the crowd and turn to flirt with the ladies now. La 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 la. I can't help that I'm not pure. My heart is like an open door. I'll slip out that night for l'amour. La la la, la la la. Farewell, my flower. Be hearty and healthy, Primus. Stay strong. So. La 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 la. That was quite nice. I quite like that one. Yeah.
You like that one?
Yeah, yeah. It's got promise. It's got, there's this thing, right? There's this chord progression, this chord, pair that's, right? That's very common, but the one that gets people, the one that is a really nice crunchy sort of feeling. That one, that really gets, that's a good hook. Anyway. State secrets there. I don't know what happened to Audrey. He came, he saw, he left. Hang on, let me just
maybe he's having some technical challenges.
Let me just get my headphones off and bang this guitar around.
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hey, Audrey.
How are all of you?
We're doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good.
So,
Greetings! Finally got the guitar off my head. Hi, Audrey.
Hi, JP.
Lovely to have you here. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left to the top of the show, but we've also got another Viking roundtable, I believe.
Do we today?
I think so, because it's the end of this one. You know,
we just did it last week.
I'm sure. Well, I don't know. That was something else. This is one that Viking wants. Yeah.
Oh,
So if you want to stick around, if you can, let's hope you got some spare time today. And
certainly,
you know, any times to have you on is always a pleasure, and always very informative and compassionate. So it's lovely to have you aboard, Audrey. So I'll just step back now, since it's Jessica's show. Shut up, JP. Shut up.
Thank you so much.
I thought we did the show last week, so now I'm like, oh, all right. I'm supposed to go to an event tonight where I dress up and I do my fair.
All right.
Well, you know,
okay, so look,
but
we'll see. I mean, perhaps I've got plenty of repeats to put on. We can do that.
No. Let's see if Viking is around and you guys. You know, Audrey, you and Viking can, you know, I could spend some of the time talking and then I could leave part of the way. So, and you guys can continue.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's, let me just check these messages.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Why don't you do that? Now, Audrey, why don't you share with us I don't know if you listened to the show at all, but maybe there was something you had in mind, that you wanted to share today.
Well, per our last show, we were talking about Ubuntu. We were talking about a lot of wonderful things, remedies, natural remedies. Mm-hmm. We were talking about I can't pronounce that word.
Cannabidiol. Or cannabidiol.
Cannabinoid, yes. We were talking about a lot of the natural properties of CBD and such, so, you know, I just wanted to reemphasize that has a lot of very powerful benefits for people that haven't mastered meditation. You know, these things can cure a lot of ailments. Mm-hmm. So I do hope that you've all had a wonderful discussion here. I know we're nearing the top of the hour. I was hoping to just allow the people to, listen to us perhaps in the next broadcast. We can go more into discussion about some current events and other things going on.
Yeah, that would be great, Audrey, especially if you feel like there's something that you really want to share and talk about. And of course, time is of the essence. There's a lot of things going on out there, and we want to be sensitive to that. And you know, I always say my life has been, you know, on the back burner a little bit because I want to make sure that I'm doing my part as you know, many others are as well, to make sure that the information gets out there. So I know that some of the stuff seems trivial, but we have to keep focused. And you know, Audrey, what we talked about earlier was taking back our free will. A lot of people have forfeited their free will through different types of agreements and vows and commitments, and have become slaves to, you know, our present system that we're in now. But a lot of it started with forfeiting our sovereignty, for forfeiting our free will of choice, because we didn't realize that we weren't supposed to give that away. And I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Regardless of whether they gave their freedom away or not, everyone is still sovereign. Okay. They need to understand that they are all free. The enslavement is up in the mind. They need to get through that fence and realize that they are free if they choose to be. It's a matter of choice. It's not a matter of contract, signing a piece of paper. Everyone can be free if they choose to be. They need to stand up for themselves. Stand up and demand that their oppressors back down. If all of these people around this planet roared loud enough, the cabal would back down. These people could not just demand their freedom, but make it happen. So it's really a simple fact. Every single human being on this planet is as sovereign as the birds that fly in the forest, that fly in the wild, that nest. They don't need to rely on the monetary system to survive. This is not necessary. Freedom begins for these people when they move away from the concept of money, when they decide to make a conscious decision to be free. These are the things that they need to do. It starts up in the mind. It starts in the heart. They have to have the will to do it. Stand up for themselves.
I agree. I think humanity as a whole has forgotten that they have free will because the oppression has been generational. And,
yes.
And
it's
so they
been
lost
conditioning for a long time. But they can also be unconditioned. If habits can be broken within a month, so can slavery.
That's powerful, Audrey. Very, very powerful statement.
Absolutely. Slavery is just as much an addiction of the mind as any narcotic, as any habit. It's a matter of teaching, it's a matter of training, but these things can be untaught. People can learn to be free. Just like an animal that's survived in a cage its whole life. You open the door, it doesn't know what to do. It's never known anything else, but you give it the right encouragement. It'll learn to step out of its cage. You try to force it out, it's going to snap, but you need to encourage it to come out into the sunlight. Let it feel the grass. Let it feel the land. Let it feel the sun and the wind in its face. The people are the same way. They need to learn to stand up for themselves. We can't force them to do it. It's something they have to make a conscious decision to want to do.
But I think that they don't, it's just like anything. They first have to be introduced with the idea that they are sovereign.
Yes, they are all sovereign, every single one of them. They are truly sovereign. They are not slaves unless they choose to be. And this choice is created by the cabal, by force, through fear.
Right.
They need to understand there's nothing to fear. You take away fear, the people are much stronger than you know they can be. They can do so many things.
And the matter of getting the information out, only because it's a point of remembrance, an awakening. And if just like every society that have been in very deep depression or oppression, like you said, the conditioning occurred. And then when someone would try to rise up and then they would get punished for it, then everyone goes back to the lowering their heads and walking away from the situation.
But that's the thing. If one person stands up, they'll try to whip them back down into place. If they all stand up, there are not enough whips to whip them all into place. You understand?
Yeah.
All of these people around the planet have more strength in numbers than they know. They can do so many powerful things that this cabal is afraid of.
So in times past, say during certain movements, there have been protests and people have stood in lines and been standing across highways trying to make their statements, standing across bridges, large masses of people. And then it would be, people would start getting hurt. Oh, what do you say to that? Because what is the best way to do this without just direct protests as we've done it in the past?
Build a solid foundation. Don't stand on a bridge. Stand on raw, hard land. You must have a foundation under you before you can stand up as a united front. All of these people need to build that foundation together through understanding. You stand on a bridge, yes, they can knock the bridge over. They can throw everybody out of balance. But you stand on land, it's much harder to do that.
During the transmissions today, we had, we talked about Andronicus. Andronicus was actually, appeared to me at the beginning of the hippie movement from the 1962. He actually gave a date, 1962, May 23rd, is where I saw him, and he was, somewhere in, I don't know if it was Arizona, somewhere in the Southwest, and then he was headed to Santa Fe. As I was talking to him, I was thinking about this was the advent or the beginning, or prior to the point where they started to really stand up and the riots occurred. I don't know if that's the solution. I think we tried to do it in that way in the past, and it didn't work. What I'm trying to understand, how do I encourage people to bring this information forward, because it's necessary?
By doing exactly what you're doing now on the radio. Reach as many as you can. People will spread it by word of mouth.
And I felt that, yeah.
I was going to say what you're doing now is the solution.
I felt that the things that whatever I've been going through, and I said this to a friend today, what I've been going through since my childhood and being, visitations and all these other kind of strange things, is that my outcome would have been that I was going to get hurt at some point or another. Just from whatever energy that I was attracting, or, the way that the world was, or whatever whoever recognized me, or who knew me from whatever lifetime, whatever it was, right? We'll just put it out there. But I know that I had a lot of strange things happen. So I made a decision at some point, and I said, maybe it's safer for me to be public. So if anything does happen, then I want to be out in the forefront, and that people will know that if I'm missing, then I'm missing. But otherwise, I felt like I was going to go down a road where something was going to happen anyhow. So I made a conscious choice to move forward. There are some people that are in the background, and for them, maybe that's the right choice. But for others, I encourage you to move forward and be more public, because if you are, then I think it's safer. Then people know, they're aware. It's like the man from WikiLeaks, who people are watching, trying to figure out where he's at right now. And he kind of went out in the line and was speaking boldly about different things. But people are aware that he's missing, rather, because they know who he is. I think it's Julian Assange is his name, JP?
Yep.
So, that's what I'm feeling. I mean, and for some people, it's just not, like, it might work contrary if they move out and very public, because they have families and they have certain jobs, and I have a little bit of the lifestyle of a gypsy. I go to fairs, I do readings for people, I have a very humble lifestyle, and I feel like there's not a whole lot for me to lose. I have a son that's older, so he's not affected. So we do what we have to do, whatever feels right.
Absolutely. So, strength in numbers. All of these people together can do so much. If they all went public, there wouldn't be enough cabal to stop them. And they're not going to wipe out the entire population just yet. So if all of these people stand up right now, there's a lot they could do to make this cabal back down. But it's about raising that awareness, and you can't force people to wake up, unfortunately. This has to be something that they do out of their own free will, their own fruition. You can't force a mind to wake up at any time. You can try to guide them in the right direction and hope that they will see. But blindness is difficult to cure here. Not impossible, but it's difficult, and that's because of the programming of these people. They're programmed to disregard, by default, everything that goes outside of the bounds of what they don't understand.
So,
I do apologize, outside of the bounds of what they understand. I'm a little tired today, so do forgive me.
Oh, that's fine. I think we all are. We're all being affected by different things. I just want to make one statement, and then we're going to go into break, and we're going to go meet up with Viking and go into the show. Viking's going to be here. What I was going to say is probably the biggest thing that we could do is, the worst thing that we could do is not do anything at all, and just allow them to come in and further oppress us. And so the best thing to do is to create a form of resistance, that it's not natural and easy for them to just to make our lives more difficult, to take more from us, to oppress us further, and to destroy everything that helps sustain our physical wellness, which is tampering with our food, our air quality, and so forth. So with that said, I'd like to maybe end in the Andronicus transmissions, and we will be back again next week with another transmission. We are here with Audrius, and Audrius and I will go into the next show with Viking, into the Interstellar Roundtable.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us.
Indeed.
And visit me at www.readingsbyariel.com. Thank you.